Right, so let me just get my own brain around this, because it's a complicated process, this. So
It is the moulding, yeah, it's laborious, the main thing of it.
But you made the head, okay,
Yeah.
that's the sculpture done,
Yeah.
so that's our head. And you're now going to make the mould on top of it, is
Exactly,
that right?
a 4-piece mould.
Four pieces.
1 quarter, 2 quarters and the other, so we've got 4 quarters in the mould, yeah.
I see.
So the first thing to do is to build up underneath of it, just crudely, just to support the head initially.
So why the mould in 4 pieces?
Well, basically, so you can get the actual head out of the mould. If you didn't have it in, if you had it in 2 halves, the surface tension would be too great. So you've got to kind of cut down to a minimum when you're doing a piece mould, of it in as small sections as you can, so there's not too much surface tension when you're taking the actual clay out of the plaster head. Right. You can take it away in quarters rather than pulling a full half off. A head kind of fits a 4-piece mould, and so just got to build this up. Get it close to the head. This is kind of a platform to hold the plaster, liquid plaster, when we pour it into to mould the head.
So the mould's going to be made out of just plaster?
Yeah, plaster of Paris, quick setting stuff. Get the centre line.
Why doesn't the plaster stick to the clay?
Well, it just has a natural barrier to it, I suppose. You don't need to grease. You need to grease between each piece of the mould. Like when I've made this quarter, and we take this clay away here, I'll have to do a bit of vegetable oil on that side, so plaster doesn't stick to plaster, but the plaster doesn't stick to the clay. They're just like 2 separate entities.
That's a complicated thing, isn't it? What's your favourite ceramic that you made then? Go on.
Well, that's a difficult one. I like them all in all different ways, you know.
What's the trickiest one? The one that gave you most pleasure finishing? Apart from this, of course.
I did a head in Chelsea paste, an 18th century head. That was about the most satisfying thing I made, because I actually made the body myself as they would in Chelsea. I knew someone who'd done X-ray fluorescence of different ceramics, and they gave me like the recipe of what the real stuff was. The Chelsea porcelain is a bit, it's almost a glass actually.
Right. So the actual
the 18th century,
the clay it's made out of, or the porcelain it's made out of.
Yeah, it's kind of akin to glass really. It's borderline between ceramic and glass. Early Chelsea, the body on early Chelsea. I kind of got that right. That's what gave me quite a bit of satisfaction. It was really interesting to do it.
So the body is the stuff it's made out of.
Yeah, this is what you call the body.
Yeah.
The clay body. There's all different recipes for different clays, and that's what I find really interesting about ceramics. Not completely, I like making them, but I like the chemistry and the inventiveness and the trial and error in them, really.
So this Chelsea piece you made, what was it? What was the image?
It was of a child.
Ah.
It's a known piece, quite famous. The guy he was a silversmith who founded Chelsea originally. Well, I suppose as you know, Nicholas Sprimont.
Oh yeah. So where is it now then?
I don't know. I sold it. I didn't get that big money for it, but it got identified later on as a piece of early Chelsea ware.
Oh.
So
it's out there somewhere in a museum or a private collection.
Probably private collection, yeah. I think so. I don't think it's in a museum. But I said I can't say for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I think we're more or less right for the plaster there now. Fill this cavity. Like I said, not right to the top, probably just about an inch beyond what we need there. It'll find its own level, of course, as liquid does. So it's just so long as we clear this by about 3/4 of an inch. That's all that matters. Then this will be repeated on the back side, on the other side, in 2 more quarts on the other side, obviously.
Yeah.
So we've got a large plaster block with this head inside of it. Squeezing all the lumps out of it. to pour now. Right now, just pour gently from the beginning, just so you make sure you get the eye, the nose and the mouth in, that's the main thing. Shake the bubbles out and take them away from the actual face of the mould so you don't get that air pockets in it. That's just about enough. Right, we just have to let that set now. Then we'll do the next piece and on to all four eventually.